there's something we need to talk about, and it's the concept that being single is beneficial. It's completely wrong, and by the end of this video you'll fully understand my whole journey with this and how I've come to this stage and my current view on all of this now. And it's pretty simple. Being single is closing you off from growth in so many aspects, right? I think when you're younger, there is a loss to being deeply committed in a relationship and being too catered for, feeling too okay, feeling too content with life. But the quicker you get through that, the quicker you find that when you're in a loving relationship, that love is deeply needed for everyone. It's one of the fundamental needs on like the hierarchy of needs. Like, love is there. And even just like for self-actualization, like you need to feel loved. And obviously before that, self-love comes first. Like you obviously you need to love yourself because you can't be looking for it in someone else. But when you find it for yourself and then you find it in someone else as well, from your own love, then you can start focusing on other things. And that's where it really gets difficult, because it's like saying, and this is when you're in that like true love state where it's like you're comfortable. This is where concepts like the relationship belly come in. Concepts like, you know, like relationship fat, or, you know, just getting into a state of deep comfort because you are so loved. It's getting past that and realizing that you still want to grow, you still want to achieve, and you want all of that for yourself. And even though you're like completely loved and everything is like there for you, you don't need to go back and like backtrack into it. You know, you don't need to break up to get yourself back in the gym. You don't need to break up to find growth in other avenues. You know, you still need to channel that energy elsewhere and grow, because that's what we're here to do. I think like one of the fundamental like purposes and why we find learning and growth and like the creation of new neural pathways so satisfying in life, just being human, is like how it feels to learn something new. And when you are pushing yourself like a little bit beyond your edge, challenging yourself to do more, challenging yourself to learn more, it's part of like feeling human. It's what you're built to do. So relationships don't actually have to play any role in that. That is like, it's like saying that your sole purpose is there, but the relationship is there to be a maintenance to you as well. And how you win at the game, in my opinion, is to have both. Because when you have the relationship and you're pursuing that growth and that learning experience, you go like an extra mile, and you're doing it not to feel good, you're doing it not to attract someone else, you're doing it like for yourself, which is ultimately the most beautiful thing. And you're doing it for yourself whilst feeling like you don't have to do it. It's like saying, when there's like a soccer player who's really proved themselves and they don't really need to work that much harder, but they do anyways, that's like real greatness. That's like the essence of like the human experience that people relate with on a deeper level. If you look at like UFC fighters, like even boxing, like if you look at Muhammad Ali, like he was a good boxer. He didn't need to go the extra mile. He didn't need to like do all the trash talk, but it made him that much better. So I think the lesson in all of this is, when you close yourself off from self-love, you close yourself off, not necessarily self-love, when you close yourself off from relationships under the guise that it's going to bring more growth, I think it's wrong. I think that you should be doing it despite the fact, like, you should be doing it in the relationship. You should continue to grow, and the relationship should be fired to make that happen. It's like saying, I was reading something and they were talking about like men are really good at doing what they need to, but it's until they have a reason to do something that they need to that anything actually gets done. So I'm butchering the words, but essentially the idea was talking about how when a man has a child, the work ethic and their ability to get things done increases on a like massive scale, purely just for the need to provide. And that's not something that just happens when a guy has a child. I think it's in the process of happening when you start getting into a relationship, and it's something you can like touch on even before the child, even before the relationship. So yeah, just that's the food for thought, is what is the reason you're working? Like, what the reason why is important, but are you channeling that to attract a person? Are you channeling it with the person? And if you are in a relationship, are you still growing? So that's the food for thought today, boys. Cheers.